Let's talk about how a single human life, lost and alone deep inside enemy territory, can become the one single reason a superpower moves heaven and earth.
For 2 full days, there was nothing. Just silence, isolation, and the constant fear of being found.
This is the story of what happens when an entire nation decides to bring one person home, no matter the cost. So it all kicks off in an instant. A violent, chaotic moment in the sky over Iran. For the 2-man crew of this F-15E Strike Eagle, call sign Dude 44, their world is about to be turned completely upside down.
And there it is, the exact moment. An Iranian missile gets sucked into an engine, and just like that, a high-tech mission becomes a desperate scramble for survival. The plane is coming apart.
The 2 crew members have no choice. They punch out, blasted from the fireball into the pitch-black Iranian night. Now, one of them is recovered pretty quickly, but the other, he just vanishes.
For that one airman, you gotta understand, the crash, that was just the beginning. For the next 2 days, he was a ghost, completely cut off from the world.
At this point, he's not really a soldier anymore. He's just a man, trying to stay alive. He landed miles from the crash site, he's bleeding badly, and he's got to patch himself up, all while hiding from enemy patrols who know he's out there somewhere. And he didn't just find a ditch to hide in. No, he started climbing, scaling cliffs, pushing higher and higher until he reached 7,000 feet, where he found a crevice in the rock, a small, defensible spot to wait and to hope. And then, after almost 2 days of absolute, terrifying radio silence, he makes contact. Just 3 words crackle over his encrypted radio. And those 3 words, they are about to unleash hell.
Okay, so while our pilot is fighting to survive on the ground, something else is happening. A silent, invisible war is already being fought in the shadows. The CIA immediately spins up this massive deception campaign. It's basically a ghost operation designed to send Iranian search parties on a total wild goose chase, buying precious time for the real rescue.
So they create this whole phantom rescue. They leak fake intel that he's on the move, heading for the coast. And to really sell it, the US military moves 9 warplanes to a completely different area, this huge feint to make sure the Iranians are looking in the wrong direction.
With the decoy in place and the pilot's real location now locked in, the true scale of the American response is, well, it's unleashed. Over 150 aircraft. Think about that for a second. More than 150 planes are mobilized for one person. It's basically an entire air force descending on a single coordinate.
And this wasn't just a rescue party. This was an overwhelming, brutal display of air power. You've got B-1s dropping 100 massive bombs just to keep enemy search parties away. You've got B-2 stealth bombers flying all the way from Missouri to hit strategic targets.
I mean, look at this. You've got an entire ecosystem of military might filling the sky. Drones for surveillance, bombers for suppression, A-10 Warthogs for close air support, and these huge transport planes carrying in operators from SEAL Team 6, all of it converging on one single point on a map. Okay, now we're at the climax, the extraction itself. This is high speed, it's high stakes, and literally anything could go wrong. All that power, all that planning, it all comes down to these next few moments.
Every single second counts here. The plan is a perfectly timed sequence. Locate the signal, secure the area with overwhelming force, and then get the choppers in to extract him. Sounds simple, right? But the execution is anything but. And of course, even with all that planning, things went wrong. An A-10 Warthog took fire and went down. And then 2 of the massive MC-130s, the planes carrying the rescue helicopters, they got stuck in the sand after landing. They couldn't be recovered, so to keep their tech from falling into enemy hands, they had to be destroyed right there on the spot.
And this is where the story pivots. It goes from a human survival story to something much, much bigger, a chilling geopolitical message. The pilot is safe, sure, but the mission, it's not over.
With the airmen safely recovered, the entire rescue operation is immediately reframed by President Trump. It becomes a prelude to an ultimatum. The incredible military power that was just used to save one man was now being held up as a preview of what could be done to an entire country.
So you see what's happening here. The whole operation had 2 purposes all along. First, save a life, absolutely. Uphold that promise to leave no one behind. But second, it was meant to show Iran, and frankly the entire world, exactly what the US military was capable of doing next.
Suddenly, one man's incredible story of survival became a bargaining chip in this high-stakes international standoff. The successful mission wasn't the end of the story, it was the opening move in a much bigger, much more dangerous game.
And it leaves you with this really critical question, right? Where is that line between saving a life and threatening millions? And what does it mean when the very act of rescue becomes the most powerful threat of all?